Thank you. Let's go out with something really hot for these folks. A big hit out of 77. Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. Give me the Star Wars. Don't let them end. Star Wars.
Okay, hey, welcome up, everybody. Welcome to the Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour. We're glad you could join us here. We're talking all about Book of Boba Fett, Episode 5. We talk all things Star Wars here, but this particular episode is going to focus squarely on Episode 5, Book of Boba Fett. Before I get started, I'd like to say hello to Debbie.
Hi.
Let me get my hand right. She's over here. She is the co-host of the MCU Mondays on Geek News Now. You can check them out here on the same YouTube channel. She's also part of the social media squad for Geek News Now. So all the cool little Facebook posts and Twitters and tweets, and I don't know exactly what she does, but she gets our name.
Either. I just, play it by ear.
And then with us below us is Chelsea. Chelsea is one of our authors at Geek News Now. Go to geeknewsnow.net. You can look up some of her articles and some of the things that she's written. Good to see you here, Chelsea.
Yo.
One little thing I do want to touch on, Dave Gramillion was supposed to be with us tonight. He was going to try and be with us. Let me rephrase that. And he couldn't make it, but he did write an interesting article on this latest episode that we just watched. So, Debbie, kick us off. Episode 5, Book of Boba Fett. What's your thoughts?
Well, it's basically Mando 2.5, but I'm cool with that because I think it's going to lead up to something bigger.
I looked at it as because I think Dave even mentioned that in his articles to where it's Mando 2.5, and I was looking at it going, I look at it as a prelude to season 3. That's just my personal thoughts. It's just it was all Mando all the time.
I'm just thinking that, and it's either one of two things. Well, I think mainly it's going to be they're all going to gang up together. Mando, Boba Fett, Croissant, and Barrack, and whoever else they gather up. And quite possibly it'll just all move over to Mando because we haven't heard anything about Boba being another season or anything.
Right. So far as we know right now, it's a, what do they call it? It's a
limited
micro series, right? It's a limited series. It's not a full on, hey, we're going to get 2 or 3 seasons of this.
Yeah. So that's my theory. Don't know if it's true or not, but it would make some sense because that way it's not just Mando.
Yeah.
Doing side quests.
Help me and I'll give you this, which will help you a little further along. So I don't know. I like the idea of it feeding into Mando season 3, like something that's going to happen in this series is going to carry over, and even bringing Boba Fett back for special cameos and guest shots in future Mando seasons. Hey, we need your help with this. Come send your crime organization to come help us take care of this. So I'm okay as far as bleeding it that way, yes.
Well, I'll expand more on it once we get into it. I don't want to give everything away at the first shot. So,
Chelsea, I know you had some opinionated thoughts.
Pretty much the same thing she just said. It was not Boba Fett. Like, he was not in that episode at all.
Yes, he was. His name was in the title.
Oh, his name.
And Mando said his name also. So
yeah.
Okay, so his name has been said.
He was mentioned.
It was not mentioned. His name's been mentioned in other episodes of Mando. His name was mentioned in some of the other Star Wars. But that didn't necessarily make it a Book of Boba Fett. It was a weird chapter if it was.
Honestly, I
liked it though.
did.
I liked it better
it was a
than
lot of
last
fun.
week.
But see, here's the thing, and I think Dave Filoni is real bad about doing this, to where he's like, "Hey, look, I created a character that's really cool and really awesome,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to remind you by throwing it in your face every once in a while,"
Mm-hmm.
like he did with Ahsoka. You know, hey, look what I did on the Clone Wars, and now we did the final season of the Clone Wars, and she was the big hero, and we even had an episode of the Mandalorian where it's like, hey, so looking at things like that, I'm looking at this episode going, oh, he did it again. Don't forget, I made the Mandalorian too. I was part of that too. But it wasn't, I mean, with Ahsoka in the first or second season of Mandalorian, it wasn't all crazy and all up in your face about the whole thing. You know, she was there, but she was very much a side character. Mm-hmm. She was not the focus of the thing. And with this particular episode, Mando was very much the focus of everything. I mean, yes. Everything he did.
And the Darksaber was a big.
We did get a little more lore on the Darksaber. And we got Mando. Okay, let's just start at the first.
Yep, might as well just
he goes to pick up that bounty, and man, he was just brutal. He cut that guy in half, and he cut his head off,
and he burned himself.
Well, but the
Darksaber.
But see, and this is what I like about the Mandalorian is the Mandalorian is not like Superman. The Mandalorian is, we can look at the Mandalorian and go, he is still human. You know, he has the Beskar armor and it deflects, you know, blaster bolts and everything. And he's got the jetpack and he can fly and everything, but he can still get hurt. You know, he is not immune from.
Yeah, this episode kind of humanized that.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, really the whole series has humanized that. The whole Mandalorian series humanized that to where it was, you know, you had the first one where he almost died. Like next to the first season where he almost died, like next to the last episode.
Yeah.
And he got his butt kicked more than once in that season.
Yeah, he was rescued by a baby.
Yeah. So he's been very humanized, and this just kind of added to that, I think. Him being burned. And then he had to talk his way out of the Then he talks his way out of the oh, there's some Republic credits in there, and you guys are welcome to them if you let me walk out of here.
Yeah, I don't think he could have taken on that whole group.
No, not in the condition he was in. So, Grogu, though, was brought back up again.
His little friend.
We get to see, which I'm going to assume that, okay, so he had the armor construct something for him out of the Beskar spear. They got rid of the Beskar spear. Why did he get rid of that? I've got to go
explain that.
I've got to go change all of my. I know she did, but that was still cool. They didn't need to be doing that. I went through and upgraded a bunch of my little Lego figures, and I gave them all a little silver spear. I was like, "You got Beskar spear." Now it's like, now I got to change everything back. So Melted built something for Grogu, which I'm going to assume is going to come into play in season 3.
Which I hope we don't have to wait until next year for.
Oh, I think I did hear something that they delayed, that filming has been delayed on it. I don't know about release, but I think filming has been delayed, and that's just, everything's getting delayed right now, so.
That's frustrating. After they bragged at the things, they had an indoor thing where they didn't have to be really close to each other.
Yeah, and they all wear masks. Come on.
Shoot, he's wearing a big old helmet.
He's wearing a big helmet. So it's just as good. So, Okay, so we get to the Beskar spear. They melt the Beskar spear down. We get the armorer back, and we get
Paz Vizsla.
Cass Vizsla back.
He was not a happy camper that Mando had the dark saber. You could see it because the armorer and then Mando are like facing each other, and then Vizsla was like, right here. And as soon as she starts talking about the dark saber or whatever, you could just see him straighten up, and his helmet kind of went up like
he knew what she was talking about. He was there, and being that he was part of that initial clan that was the Vizsla clan that created the darksaber. I mean, that's his legacy. That's his family legacy right there.
Yeah, he was pretty pissed.
Well, and pissed enough that he took he challenged him for it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't win it.
And didn't win. Well, because hey, Mando's the hero. He's got to be the hero.
Yeah, he's not going to lose the saber.
He's not going to lose. No, he's the hero. I knew going in. I was like, oh, he's about to win this. In fact, I even thought, he's about to win this, but something's going to happen, and they're going to say he's not worthy of the darksaber because of something he did. And then, sure enough, have you taken your helmet off? I'm like, oh, there it is.
I wonder, do they ask that every single time? I mean,
she has.
A weird question.
I mean,
she's asked it a few times.
She's asked it a few times, yeah.
Has she?
And the only time really that he took it off for a person, I can only think of two instances. The first one in season 1 doesn't count because that was IG-11, so that's not I didn't take my helmet off in front of a person. But
technicalities.
Technicalities. But then in the season 2 when him and what's his name were he shot the guy in the Imperial bar. They were trying to get the
Bill
location.
Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr. Yeah.
Well, he also took it off.
And then at the end of the last episode too, when he in front of Grogu.
And there's one other time, I believe. Did he not take it off in front of that girl when they were in that village?
Mm-mm.
No, he took it off.
He
He did take it off, but not in front of her.
It.
Okay.
She touched up under it.
And there was one scene where she had brought him something to eat, and you didn't see him, but you saw him set the helmet down, and he ate. You didn't see him, but she wasn't in the room with him.
Okay. I couldn't remember. It's been a while.
I actually have Mandalorian going right now because I needed my Grogu fix.
I was funny enough. I was actually watching that the other day myself. I'm up through season 2. I was binge watching it. So.
Oh, I had started binge watching it a while back, and I was like, I'm gonna pause just a little bit. And then I started it back up, and I was on episode 7 when I stopped.
So I've got to ask too, and this was brought up in one of the Facebook groups. What about the Halo ring? Did you catch the Halo ring? I guess that's from the video game Halo, and he's on the. I was like, wow, that's it's an interesting tie.
I guess I missed that.
Well,
I don't know anything about Halo though, so that's probably.
See, I didn't either, and I probably wouldn't have known anything unless somebody had pointed it out to me. So
I only know because my youngest son is a huge fan of Halo. So
gotcha. Yeah, that was the big thing. It was like, oh, it's the Halo ring.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird setup for a place to live because it seemed like day and night. Well, I don't know how it could be day and night because it kept moving. The sunlight kept moving. It's like, well, how do you know whether to get up or go to sleep or go to work or go home? I mean, how the hell does that work?
No idea.
Be hard to sleep that
physics way. Star Wars physics.
Star Wars physics is messed up physics.
It's galaxy far away. Different galaxy, different set of physics.
Exactly.
What did you guys think of the when they did the flashback to the Purge of Mandalore?
That was amazing. I want to see that, and I want to. Okay, Dave Filoni, I know you're watching. I want to see another cartoon, and I just want to see just a limited series cartoon where you do the Purge of Mandalore like that. I'll be fine with that. You know, maybe
and it
even
gave off some definite Terminator 2 vibes.
Yeah, it really did.
That came up, and I was like, "Did we switch to Terminator?" Or?
Well, let's see. We've gone from Halo to Terminator to.
We're just covering all the franchise.
We got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers a few episodes back.
Ugh. Yeah, that was a pretty cool scene because we got to see the well, I refer to them as the K2SOs, but I guess technically they're called KX security droids. Because the K2SO is what we've seen in
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Mm-hmm.
I loved him.
He was funny. I liked him.
Of course he was. Don't tell Dave that, though. He'll get in trouble.
I know he doesn't like Rogue One.
He can get over it.
Yeah, I love it. Backstory, girl. It's my jam.
Loved it. Okay, so and then he gets on this registered transport, and we got the other joke. We got the next joke coming in right here. I want to step back to one scene that was just hilarious when he was going to collect that bounty. And he was in the elevator with that fish thing. For one thing, that fish thing honestly reminded me, I think it was Knights of the Old Republic 2. There was a planet of fish-looking things like that. And I was like looking at it going, oh, and then he's getting in the lift, and I was like, all of a sudden I started flashbacking to, oh my gosh, it's Knights of the Old Republic 2. That's what this game is. That's what they're doing. But then the thing's looking at him, and he turns around and looks at him like, what? Whips around.
Well, at the time he still saw all the weapons, and he looked down, saw the bat.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. I just lost you. I was getting a phone call.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I guess she'll be back.
Going back to the armorer she was sparring with Mando, trying to teach him
how to use the dark saber.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how it kept getting heavy and heavy because I think it's because he's not at peace with himself or he's not balanced. And I'm not talking Jedi Force or anything like that.
Maybe, I don't know. And maybe there's some kind of new aspect that we haven't been told, about the darksaber, because what's her name? Sabine had no problem wielding it whatsoever. Pre-Vizsla, obviously, but I mean, Pre-Vizsla was this clan Vizsla, so again, that's his birthright. But even still, Moff Gideon had no problem flinging that thing around. He flung it around during that battle with the Mando, like it was nothing.
Could it be kind of like Thor's hammer?
Only those that are worthy to rule Mandalore may wield the darksaber.
And I thought it was really cool. We got to see the vibro blade.
Yes.
That was neat.
Yes. That's, again, another throwback, another Easter egg for all you, they don't use the legends. Yeah, they do. There it is. They're using it.
Bits and pieces of it, but they do throw
You're getting it. Okay.
I think eventually the legends will be canon.
Parallel universe.
Multiverse. They're going to introduce the multiverse.
Multiverse, that. Yeah. I also liked it when she really dinged him in the head with it. I assume it was some kind of hammer
Debbie
of some sort. But
oh, there she goes.
She was just like boing.
Yeah, I got a phone call, so it blocked me off.
So, and she had no problem watching them duke it out either. when she said, do you accept the challenge? She's like, okay, fine. I'm going to walk away. But she also kept them from killing each other too, which I would think makes sense. All in all, though, I will say this. It was good to see them back just because they were there in episode 1 and she was making her final stand against the Empire in those culverts in the first season. And then the second season, she just wasn't there at all. And it was like, well,
Did
what
she live
happened?
or did she die?
Yeah, there's a big group of them. What happened with all of the Mandos down there? So,
well, we knew that they showed what happened to most of them, but I still was kind of surprised in this episode to see that more than just 2 of them lived. More than just Mando and her lived. I thought they'd all died. So I was kind of wondering where he was at the end of it. Because if he wasn't
running scared.
Yeah, they might have just all dispersed because they were probably being hunted down by the Imperials.
I'm sure. So,
but then they just kind of dick move where, well, you took your helmet off, so
yeah,
later.
You
and I was
go.
like, don't let him walk away with the dark saber when according to legend, that whoever wields it will rule Mandalore.
Yep. And I mean, even to the point of she even said, because she told him, and my guess is that this is going to be the season 3 quest is you need to return to Mandalore and bathe in the fountains of whatever it was to cleanse yourself. And I was like, oh, Mando season 3, here we go.
Naked Mando. Yeah. Or does he have to bathe with a suit on? Sorry.
It's a reasonable question because they're not supposed to take off their helmets, but how is he supposed to bathe?
So maybe he'll go in there in his helmet and his underwear. There you go. How you doing?
Well, that would be a sight. But them kicking him out leads me to my theory that I mentioned earlier. So they kick him out. He's no longer part of their
clan,
sect, whatever covenant.
She went so far as to say, she even said, "You are no longer a Mandalorian."
She is.
It's like,
sketchy.
whoa. Just drop kick him, why don't you?
Which is why I think him and Boba will come together and create their own little sect.
Well,
or tribe.
Well, they had the clan
Boba
of
would be a
with
tribe.
Grogu. At the end of the first season, they said you're now a clan of 2.
Yeah, it was him and Grogu.
So
yeah, Grogu has some mysterious thing made out of Beskar.
Is it like a chain?
Don't know.
Chain.
It was wrapped up. He had it wrapped up, and he even said, I think at the end of this episode, he said, "I got to go see a little friend first, and then I'll be back."
Yeah, I got so mad when it went to credits. I threw my remote.
Could be the next episode.
No, okay, so here's the thing. I think the fandom's kind of split on this one, to where you got about half of them saying this was the best episode of Book of Boba Fett. This was the best one because there was a lot of stuff that was answered from Mando season 2. But then you've got the other half going, this is supposed to be the Book of Boba Fett, not the Book of Mandalorian. This was a non-Boba Fett episode. This was a filler episode, which
I don't care.
yeah, kind of it was. But like I said, you've had so many people split on this issue that if they did another Mando-centric episode to where it was all him all the time, I think you'd really tick a lot of people off.
I don't think it would be Mando centric. I mean,
I'm sure he'll be in it, but
it could be where for some reason he gets sidetracked going to see Grogu and ends up going to help Boba Fett.
My thought, here's my theory, and I told this to Luke when we watched it, and I was like, my theory is that he's going off to go see Grogu. He's going to give Grogu the little package of whatever it was, and the next episode will focus all on Boba Fett, and the war will be starting, because next episode's episode 6. There's only 7 episodes. So at the
Short
end...
war.
Huh?
Short war.
Yeah. He continued on Mando season 3.
But my theory is at the end of this next episode, Boba gets in some kind of pinch to where he needs to be rescued. You know, he's being outgunned, outnumbered, whatever else. And Mando will show up just like at the last minute. And you'll get the woo, 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 woo. And he'll start shooting and blowing things up. And then we roll into the final episode of them fixing everything. So that's my theory, is that he's going to go off. He'll be in the next episode, but maybe like the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll look up. It's good you showed up again. I wouldn't leave a friend hanging. This is the way. Okay, so airport security.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
And I don't know what was sillier, the airport security, or he said put your weapons in this bag, and he's just everywhere. It's like, okay, at this point you're just silly.
I'm surprised they didn't make him put the jetpack in the box. I was
well, that's not really a weapon, but it does have a.
But still,
yeah.
It could cause some major damage if something happens and it explodes, or breaks a window, and then you're in a vacuum of space.
So he's on this commercial flight. What do you think was the purpose of the Rhodian child in front of him? The little girl that reached up and waved at him, and he just he didn't really brush her off, but he just kind of sat there expressionless, which you're in a Mandalorian mess. That's all you're going to do is sit there expressionless. But
I think maybe it was just a touching moment, because I believe either right before that or right after that, he was looking at that cloth that has that gift for Grogu. And I think it kind of made him.
Well, they also don't usually do anything for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
they showed that kid twice.
Yep. They sure did. Both times on
the same
commercial airlines.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it's just he was looking at it. And this was kind of my thought, was maybe it was nothing. Maybe he was just kind of looking at it as, I used to be the father of a child. I used to have a young one that traveled with me, and I kind of miss that. But I'm going to go see him right now, so everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that was just the touching, I had a kid moment, is my theory anyway. We're all about theories. I like the theories.
I come up with a lot, and sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not.
Mephisto confirmed.
Yeah, if you've watched Marvel.
If you've watched MCU Mondays, we mention Mephisto at least once an episode.
Well, if I say it enough, it'll come true. Because we know Marvel watches, though.
So, and he gets to Mos Espa, and I'm looking at it going, honestly, could you have picked a better? You've got all these different background characters that you can choose from to have there. Carl Weathers is there. You've got Cara Dune is there. You've got a myriad of people that you can say, okay, we're going to go meet you in Mos Espa. But we choose the one that is quite possibly the most annoying one. Oh my! Amy Sudeikis, is that, or
Sedaris?
No, Sedaris. I'm Jason Sudeikis. Okay, so with her, it was gosh, what was the name of that TV show she was in? It was on Comedy Central. It wasn't Strangers with Candy. It was
I wouldn't know. I didn't watch Comedy Central.
Gosh, I can't even remember now. I'm gonna have to go look it up. But even then, she was just, I could not. It's her voice is like people scratching fingernails on the chalkboard, and I'm just like. And then she starts talking about, I dated a Jawa, and I was like, I didn't need to know that. I don't know that. More than once. Don't worry, I dated it. No, I'm working on me now. Come on.
It's supposed to be comedy relief.
I guess, but.
And the reason he went to see her was because, he thought she had a new Razor Crest for him, but.
And we know that he's looking for one, and that's good. Because, and I think a lot of, if you go to geeknewsnow.net and read Dave Gramillion's article on, I can't remember the title exactly, but it's about No Boba Fett, because Boba Fett wasn't in this one. So No Boba Fett. It was a clever title. But go read the article, and one of his big arguments is that, and honestly, it made sense to me too, was why do you get a Naboo N1 starfighter for a bounty hunter? What good does this particular vehicle do to him? There's no cargo space in it. In season 1 of The Mandalorian, he had 4 or 5 different carbonite blocks of bounties that he was collecting on. In fact, I think the first scene, he went and dumped all of that stuff on Gree's desk and said, here, they're all in the. So it wasn't like he just went and got one and came back. It was he went and did several of them and then came back and got all at once. Now, that being said, he also had a weapons arsenal. I mean, a big fold out, hey, look, here's all my guns and blasters and everything else. And where are you going to put stuff like that in a little one-man starfighter?
I think the starfighter will come into effect.
I think he uses the starfighter to trade for a Razor Crest. That's my theory. Either that or he'll find some kind of ship that he can keep that starfighter in tow, and that'll be like his weekend car. I'm going to drive this on the weekend.
Or
it's my convertible.
It's the Book of Boba Fett.
So.
And Boba Fett has a ship he's not currently using.
Oh. Actually, you know what? That kind of makes sense. Because Boba Fett is not using... I'm going to offend everybody again. Boba Fett is not currently using Slave 1. He's as far as I can see so far, he's very content to stay on Tatooine and cover his territory there on Tatooine.
And he may need a fast ship
to get around Tatooine on. So, yeah, I can see that. So maybe Slave 1 becomes the Mandalorians. And when Slave 1 becomes the Mandalorians, then maybe he changes the name, and then Disney can justify changing the name of Slave 1. Just a thought. It's possible. Of course, if it happens, I'm going to be like, no, what? I'm calling it here.
So while we're at the mechanics or the garage, whatever you want to call it, the hangar, I thought it was pretty cool. We got to see a little BD droid.
Okay, is that the droid? Is that the one from
Jedi Fallen Order? Yeah.
Fallen Order? Okay, I started playing that game, but I wasn't really sure. And I asked Luke about it because he played that game all the way through. And I was like, is that droid from the game? And he goes, it's one like it. It looks like it. And I was like, okay. So
yeah, well, I don't
that's
know if it's the exact droid, but
no. Honestly, it would surprise me if it was, but
I think it was just
it's the same style.
I think it was just an Easter egg or just another reference.
Another. And well, I guess Fallen Order really isn't Legends though, is it? I think that's canon because it was created after the Disney thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh well, I'm sorry, no Legends there, just some cool canon stuff. And then they build this
montage.
Ah! Go back and watch MCU Mondays from last week, from earlier this week. We discussed Captain America and had a big discussion about montages.
Love Captain America.
Montage. We're gonna need a montage. Building the ship.
Yeah. The part where he asked the Jawas for some kind of, I don't know what it was, some kind of a part, and they steal it from underneath the Pike's ship. It looked awfully similar to in New Hope when they're in the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And they,
sure
I think it was Luke or Han used it
to try and brace the compactor walls.
Yeah, looked very similar.
Huh. Yeah, now that you say that, now I'm starting to think about it, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. So,
Well, of course it is. I said it was.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. You said yes, and okay, it is.
Good point tying to the original and to the prequels.
Yes, because you're dealing with the Naboo fighter, which is prequel era stuff.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh my gosh!" My sister's like, "What?" It's like, "That's the ship from episode 1." She just started laughing at me.
And then when he goes to take it for a test drive, he kind of goes through the pod racing course.
Okay, so here's an interesting fact about that, and I saw a TikTok or something like that on this, but at some point he drives past the ramp, and I'll have to go back and watch it again, but he drives past the ramp that
Anakin veers off.
That Anakin veered off on, and all the debris is still all the debris from Anakin's thing. So, like I said, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this episode again just to see if I can catch that.
Okay, if Stella doesn't like this movie, I can't marry her.
No, you can't.
You want to watch it again?
Yes, I do.
You want to watch it again? Yes, I do.
I'm pretty sure it does. It has the, I think I've seen screenshots, but my son, he pointed at, as soon as I always get up early to watch Mando, so I'm not spoiled throughout.
Oh yeah, throughout the day.
And
I just avoid Star Wars pages.
That's tough to do on my Facebook feed. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah. But when I got home, my youngest son, of course, we always have to discuss, and he was like, "Did you notice that was the off ramp that Anakin used?" I was like, "Oh my God, it was." And the debris is there.
Now, and something else too, because she said, point to the twin suns and you'll head towards Beggar's Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And so help me God, the only thing I could think was, oh, here's the next level of the video game. We got to fly through Beggar's Canyon without crashing. It's like a friggin' video game. Watch this. Although I will say, and I had mentioned this to Debbie off screen a while back, but we were fortunate enough for Christmas this year to get a 4K TV, and watching this episode in 4K was holy smokes amazing. It looked so good.
Well, now I have to rewatch it on a 4K TV.
the picture was so clear and crisp and flying around in that thing. You just so good, so good. But we run into the X-wing fighters again. The the New Republic police force. They're gonna drop Rangers of the New Republic to NRPD, New Republic PD, NRPD Blue.
I love how they mention the paperwork. They're like, "Do you want to go back and do a bunch of paperwork?"
Nope.
I was like, "This is a Star Wars. They don't have a whole lot of paper."
Yeah. In fact,
why are they mentioning paper?
The first time, and in fact, this is interesting trivia fact right here. The first time really that you see paper in the Star Wars universe is The Last Jedi, when Luke is guarding the ancient Jedi texts. The ancient texts are on paper. So,
yeah, that's the only time you ever see paper.
Ever. That was the first and only. Yeah, that was the first. So it was. But yes, do you want to go back and do paperwork?
And that young pilot was in Mando.
Was he? I know the older one was.
He was the stand-in for Luke.
Oh.
Don't have to rewatch it.
Now I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it too now.
Yeah, I recognized him from watching the what is it, gallery?
Yeah.
That they do at the end of each season, and yeah, that was him.
Wow. I'm
little cutie patootie.
I guess. I guess.
I still say it was a missed opportunity using Sebastian Stan for Luke, but that's.
I know, right? God.
That's the big theory out there with everybody, isn't it?
They do look alike.
They do look an awful lot alike.
Twins.
I guess.
Even Mark Hamill's addressed it.
I guess.
Well, Sebastian and shoot, I can't remember. Is it Rob Madison who played Icarus on the Eternals?
Right. Rob Madison.
But you put them side by side and it's uncanny.
Yeah.
They look a lot alike.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he has his new little toy. We'll say that. It's a little toy. I thought it was really funny that the X-Wing fighter pilots were like, "Do we want to chase him?" He's like, "He's on sublights. You're not going to run him down." When did he fire up his hyperdrive? He didn't.
I thought what was a little convenient. I can't remember her name. Amy, who plays the mechanic. Is it?
See, now I got to go look her up.
Pedro or Pedro or something like, I don't know. Anyways, she emptied out the space where astromech droid would go.
And that
it would be a perfect space for Grogu.
Yeah.
Get him in there.
But you're going to have people arguing, "Oh, well, that's where he's going to put his bounties. That's where his bounties are going to travel." And it's like, he's going to do one at a time? Nope.
Well, that, and you can't fit carbonite in there.
That's right.
That's how he catches them. He traps them in the carbonite, and I think it's for Grogu. He would look so cute back there.
I guess. Hang on, I'm looking it up right now. And yes, this was aptly titled "The Return of the Mandalorian." Amy Sedaris, Peli Motto.
Peli. I knew it started with a P.
Strangers with Candy. Strangers with Candy was the old show she used to be in.
documentary.
Yeah, it's about a lady who went to rehab, and she was like, she got out of rehab, and she's like 30 or 40 years old, and she decides to go back and finish high school. So she's like going to high school, and she's an old lady. It's silly. It's just, let's not go to Camelot. It's a silly place. Okay, then what's her name shows up.
Fair.
Finally. And we just basically get the teaser for the next episode, or the next 2 episodes. Nothing really is said. She just says, hey, he needs your help.
Yeah, and she tried to pay him and he wouldn't take it. Own a house.
This one's on the house. That's why in Mando season 3 we'll see Boba Fett again, because something will happen and he'll go to Boba Fett. Hey, remember when I did that freebie for you with the pikes? Yeah, time to cash in. Maybe not even maybe season 4 even. So,
Still say they're going to become their own little tribe, their own little clan.
Boba and the Mando and Fennec and Grogu.
In the Black Wookiee. And
Oh, yeah.
shoot, they could bring in
The Rancor and
Jabba's weird pig henchman.
yeah,
Gamorreans.
the Gamorreans.
You might as well just call them walking pigs, because that's what I think of every single time I see them. I don't think of their actual name.
But you could bring back Bill Burr. You could bring back.
Unfortunately, I'd love to see him bring back what's her name, Cara Dune, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Hi. I think she was talking about her return not long ago.
Yeah, she was, but that's one of those things. I'll believe it when I see it, kind of thing. As much as I'd love it, I'll believe it when I see it. So
They could bring in Cobb.
You know what? I would love to see him again. I thought that was one of the best side characters to come out of The Mandalorian, and he only got 1 episode.
Mm-hmm.
He even said, "Oh, well, I'll see you again. We'll work together again." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, bring him back. I honestly was expecting to see him at the end of season 2.
Which one we're talking about?
Cobb, the guy that had Boba Fett's armor.
Oh, the country dude.
Yeah. The Marshal. So,
The dude's
yeah.
trying too hard to be a
You okay? You're gonna crack up laughing there.
No, let's just call him Cobb and make him country. Is that what you Southerners?
Huh?
That we're all country and all have to eat corn on the cob?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why they name country one Cobb?
For those of you watching, I do live in Texas. I do not own a cowboy hat. I do not own a pair of cowboy boots. And I do not, for the life of me, own a horse. Just because I live in Texas does not mean I own that crap. I've been asked that before. Where are you from, Texas? Where's your cowboy hat?
The store?
I don't have one. Why not? I thought everybody in Texas did. That's what you get for thinking.
Born in Texas, and I have cowboy boots, but yeah, I don't have a hat, and I don't have a horse.
Yep. Okay, anything else out of this episode? We're going to be short and sweet tonight.
No, just waiting to see if
It was kind of a...
Which little friend are they talking about?
Come on.
Grogu.
Yeah, Lord.
That's the reason he has a fast ship, because he's got to get to wherever Grogu is quick, fast, and in a hurry, and then get back to help Boba.
But we actually don't know where that is.
And this is true. Okay, so in the sequel trilogy, which I know there's a lot of people that dislike the sequel trilogy. I myself, I liked it. It was Star Wars. That's the reason I liked it, because it's Star Wars, not because it's a sequel, not because it's a rehash, or because I didn't like the way the story went. It was Star Wars. I like Star Wars. So that was something, though, that was never really hashed out, was where exactly was Luke's
Jedi Temple.
Jedi Temple. Yeah. Where was he training the new generation of Jedi? So maybe that'll be
Mando gonna find out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe that's
side quests coming up.
I'm telling you, see, they're just building season 3 right here. That's all this is we're going to build up season 3. We're not answering any of the questions for Boba Fett. Whatever. But
well, they answered the biggest question,
which was
how he survived the Sarlacc.
Yes, and that has stayed. The way he did it has stayed fairly close to what we knew in Legends. Yeah, was the Legends way that he did it. So, which again, tying Legends in, all you naysayers out there. Anyway, final thoughts on this episode, Debbie?
Good episode, lots of Easter eggs.
So
Mandalorian can't go wrong with Mandalorian.
And maybe that's why they did it. Chelsea, what was that?
Kind of my favorite episode, but that's probably their.
Oh, I don't know. I wanted to see more Boba Fett.
Well, after last week's constant flashback.
Well, the week before that wasn't too bad. Yeah, because the last week. Okay, so I've been watching these flashbacks, and all of the flashbacks are in some kind of sequential order leading up to where we start knowing what he is. If there's any flashback at all, it's going to be him and Fennec following Mando and Grogu to wherever it was. I can't remember the name of the planet, but it'll be them following them and him reobtaining his armor. Because at that point, we know the rest of the story. We don't need a flashback to tell us, okay, he got his armor back, and now he's, and it may even be something as simple as this Mandalorian's going to such and such place. We need to follow him, and that's it. It doesn't need to show us, the trip there or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as flashbacks go, I think you're right. I think we're about done with them. Plus, like you said, Chelsea, we've got a whole war to fight, and we've got 2 episodes left. So
one battle's not a war.
Yes, this is true. So, well, I did enjoy this episode. I did not think it was the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett, just because it did not have Boba Fett in it. Dave, you said Noba Fett, and that makes sense. Although I will say this, one of the more clever names that I heard was when Boba Fett made his appearance back in Mando season 2, when he finally showed himself and got his armor back on, and Tamora Morrison had obviously put on a little weight since episode 2 and 3 and everything else, and people were calling him Boba Fett, and I was like, he's got the dad bod going on. Yeah. Love it. Again, something I can cosplay. Woohoo! So, yeah, like I said, I did enjoy it. Again, not my favoriteest episode, but it was good, and especially to see the Mandalorian back. So, well, if there's nothing else, remind everybody, go check out geeknewsnow.net. Read our articles there. go check out our Facebook page. Go check out our. We got
There's TikTok.
TikTok. Yes, Kat's doing amazing things with TikTok. We got a lot of new stuff. Check out. And I will say this on the season finale of Book of Boba Fett, we are going to have a special guest. We're going to have John Biscardi from the Geek and I podcast will be on. So he's all lined up as a special guest. He's kind of been all over the place as far as Book of Boba Fett goes too. I liked it. I didn't like it. Liked it. I didn't like it. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that one goes. Maybe we can get Chris on with him. Chris and Cam. We'll get them all and have them duke it out. So anyway,
major rant going on.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, and don't forget to check out MCU Mondays on right here on the Geek News Now YouTube page. It's also broadcast on the Facebook page. So that being said, we will see all of you next week when we have episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett. Episode 6, next to the last show.
Should be good.
It'll be good. All right.
In 7 episodes.
I know. Well, until next week, we'll see y'all all later.